Welcome to the TCAD 10-Minute Take. It is I, your host, Sheree L. Stewart, and with me, as always, is my intrepid co-host, Don the Legend Chambers, coming at you from the OC.
Yes.
This is the 10-minute version of our normal TCAD podcast, where we talk about one movie and one movie only, as opposed to the podcast where we talk about all kinds of other stuff and more than one movie. And this is just our quick review with hopefully no spoilers. And today we're talking about John Wick 3.
Yes, John Wick 3, Parabellum. Let me just say, huge fan of the John Wick series.
Wait, what you doing? I didn't start your time.
Oh, sorry. Oh, wait, okay.
Before we even get into it,
Rewind that.
You click the subscribe and click that bell so you get all new 10-minute takes as soon as they drop, even if they're not as elegant as this one.
Yes, yes. Because this is sheer elegance.
Apparently, Don's like super into this, so he's not pussyfooting around.
Ooh, nope.
So we will get started. Go.
Okay, John Wick 3, Parabellum. I'm a huge fan of this series. I'm a huge, Keanu Reeves fan, first and foremost. But love this series, love the first one, really love the second one, and I really dug the third one. I will say, for the third one, I finally realized, or as I was watching, that, holy crap, John Wick lives in this comic book world. Because some of the stuff that happens, in no way, shape, or form, could happen in the real world. And I'm not even talking about the fights. I'm talking about, people get straight up murked in public and nobody flinches. People just like, I'm going about my day, keep going. And I'm like, okay, this is definitely a comic book world. And then once I wrapped my head around that, I was even more cool with everything that went on. Because let me tell you, John Wick it's the third one here. It's like from one action sequence to another. And there's a couple in here that I was just like, that's pretty effing cool. I can't lie. Halle Berry and the dogs, pretty effing cool. The end sequence, pretty effing cool. And I think I can say, as not a spoiler, is yes, there'll be a John Wick 4 coming out in 2021. Absolutely. And I'm really looking forward to that. And why? I won't say, because I'm not going to give away the plot yet. Still give people a chance to go see it. But trust me, I have a feeling this fourth one should really be the culmination of all of this John Wick goodness. If you love the series, you're going to love this. It's more over-the-top action, mayhem, lots more creative ways they have of John Wick just being the baddest that he is and dispatching a whole swath of bad guys. It opens up a little bit more in terms of the backstory. I still don't quite understand where in the world or how this world sort of works. Because again, people are just getting murked out in public and nobody's flinching. So I'm sort of wondering how this kind of works, or maybe there's certain layers that people just expect. They're like, oh, those assassins, they're at it again. I don't know. But it's just really freaky when that sort of stuff happens. But I'm like, hey, I'm watching a comic book movie because there's some great over-the-top action stuff. It looks great. Keanu's great. Halle's great. The dogs are great. Everybody in here is pretty great. And I'm looking forward to John Wick 4. I don't even know what they're going to title it. John Wick 4, he kills everybody. I don't know. Maybe that's the title, because that's the only thing left.
Where do you put it on our scale?
Oh, on our scale, I'm definitely saying absolutely opening night. You go see it. You get your popcorn, get your drink, you sit down, and you have a good-ass time. If I was to give it a number rating, it easily is solid 8. This is for sure to go out and see, and this is a must buy for my John Wick collection, to have when it's either streaming on 4K or the 4K Blu-ray. You got to get all that. I thoroughly enjoyed it because I wrapped my head around, okay, this is really what it is. And once you're good with that, Everything's gravy. Everything's gravy.
Okay. 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 Well, I'm not quite as enthusiastic as all that. I didn't hate it. We're back to that. Uh here's why. Here's why.
Uh-huh.
Keanu Reeves for me is like first, last, and only. Like I love Keanu Reeves. I really do, and I always have. Um, and for me to really sit there for like 2 hours and some change and watch him get his ass kicked for like 2 hours and some change was really emotionally difficult for me. Because I mean, this movie was a lot like The Hangover 2, where in Hangover 1 everything went, not The Hangover, Ocean's 12.
Oh, okay.
Like in the first one everything went right, and then in the second one everything went wrong, which was not nearly as fun for us. This is what this movie was like for me. Like he was really getting his ass handed to him for a good portion of the movie without reprieve.
Yeah.
And that was a struggle for me, like emotionally. And so
Really?
then, yes, like I couldn't take it. I was like, I'm gonna have to get up and take a breather because he is not getting a break, and therefore we are not getting a break. And the part with Halle Berry and the dogs was a lot of fun. I kind of wish there was more of that character. It was very much a road movie where he's like running into various scenarios, getting his ass kicked, and like she was just one of those scenarios that he ran through. Because their rapport was really nice. I actually wouldn't mind seeing them team up again in something else down the line. It was definitely a lot more, I think, visually graphic than the other John Wick movies, which is a lot of fighting and a lot of action. But this one, they're showing a knife go into an eyeball, and you see it happen from beginning to end without a cut, and you hear the snap, crackle, and pop of gristle and bone, and you see that giant guy get his jaw dislodged and then curb stomped on, a book. Like, you're seeing these things in much more graphic detail than I like. Like, I don't like torture porn movies, and this movie definitely was skirting that line of action movie and Saw. And so, like, sometimes it was getting really close to the line that I can't take, because I don't mind guns, but I can't stand seeing cuts. Like, I don't like seeing people get cut. Like, I can't deal with that. So if you don't like movies like that, you might want to wait and check this one out on when it's out on Blu-ray, and so you have that extra step of removal from it. But it was beautifully choreographed. It was and shot, the cinematography. It was like art. This movie was so cinematically stunning for a weird, cheesy popcorn action movie. Like, it's almost jarring how beautiful it was. And I know that's a weird thing to say, but just the colors and the use of light and the saturation and the choreography of the fighting, like, it was really, really visually interesting. But again, I have a really hard time watching Keanu Reeves get his ass kicked for and then there was a couple of scenes too where, he's getting older now, and when he's fighting like that big giant guy or guys who are roughly his size, like the big Russian guys, he looks, as fast as ever. But as the movie wears on and he's starting to get beat up, more and more beat up, and then he's fighting like the little martial arts guys, he looks like the slow ass giant who, like Hogan in his twilight years, like he can barely walk and his back's all fused together. And I don't like my Keanu looking geriatric like that. This movie kind of hurt my feelings down like in movies. I'm not, I don't know, I'm torn. Like, it's definitely not a bad movie. I just...
Now, all I can say is, but see, that to me added a lot because he's somebody who will take the hits and will get hit, and he will take a beating. But the beauty of John Wick is that man just keeps coming. Oh, that man just keeps
Baba
coming.
Yaga. He was taking those hits.
He was taking those hits, boy, and he just kept coming. Listen, look. I'm telling you, Sheree summed it up. You've just got to go see it to see these set pieces because it's, like you said, it's beautiful, insanely. The choreography is amazing. I mean, I'm watching and I'm thinking, my God, how long they must have rehearsed, to do some of these action sequences because it's just intense, and he is getting flung around and hit, and then he's starting delivering the same things. And not a spoiler, but those two little the smaller Asian fighters, people will recognize them from the Raid movies. Great sequence. I'm not going to say anything else. It's a great sequence with those guys. When I saw them in there, I was like, "Oh shit, the Raid guys!" It was. I thought that was awesome. Sorry, I don't want to take up your spot.
No,
but I get what you're saying.
No, it was just, we got 5 seconds left. If I had to say, I'd say it's definitely worth seeing in the theater for the set pieces and the beautiful cinematography. If you're into that kind of cinematography and, you're into martial arts movies, it's real solid. But just be warned and be wary if you have issues with that kind of graphic violence in a way that's not cartoonish like the other John Wick movies, where it's just like thousands of bullets raining everywhere, but they're not really showing much viscera. This movie shows a whole lot of viscera. So you need to take that as a warning.
It definitely shows more. I will say it's not incredibly strong story-wise. I mean, it's a real basic story gist.
Hella basic.
Yeah, and it doesn't quite expand on the whole world as much just yet. You're still trying to piece how this sort of works in this world, but I figured this has got to be a comic book world.
Right, because there's so much loss of so much human life too over, like, it almost
in public
was to the point where it was like almost too, like, I'm saying it's almost too much. It was definitely too much. It's like thousands of people died. Like hundreds of people are dying over a dog at the end of the day. And it's like, I don't know what that's saying about us as a society where we're rooting for that. It definitely made me feel a little uncomfortable to be rooting for mass murder. But he's definitely not going out murdering people. It's all in self-defense.
Right.
But it just seemed like the sanctity of, this is so weird, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, and I hate that I'm saying this, but the sanctity of life was very casual in this movie. And so I think you're right, though. It's definitely a cartoonish comic book world that they have very specific rules, that the rules of this world that they abide by, that, once you're down with the rules of this world, then it's not our reality,
right?
For sure.
Right.
Like John Wick's universe is not. He's not in actual New York. Like he's not in.
Oh no.
Any place that we would know, because these rules are wild, and the fact that the criminals adhere to them so stringently, is very interesting. So yeah, go see it. Unless you're squeamish, then wait till it comes out on DVD. I won't be mad at you. Keanu won't be mad at you. He'll be fine. He's like a billionaire.
Yeah, Keanu's zen like that. He's good. And what Keanu would really like is to hit that subscribe button, to hit that bell, to be notified of more takes coming up. Also, check out tcadnetwork.com. That's where you will see all links to all of our takes, to all of our podcasts, the TCAD podcast, as well as reading and Good Morning Antioch, and you'll find out more about us and all the other good stuff. Stay tuned with that. Save it, bookmark it, make it your homepage, whatever you got to do. tcadnetwork.com. Make sure you're on it, always checking on there, as well as subscribe to our YouTube page here for the 10-minute takes. Boom.
Boom.
The next coming up, Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Can't wait to give you that one as well.
I'm here for it. We'll do that one next week.
Yes.